Unlock the miraculous 10 tenths portal. 8 prophetic ways this divine synchronicity will transform you. In the quaint English village of Blackwood, where every cobbled street exuded age-old charm, Sarah Walker's heart was ablaze with steady faith, the kind protected by the mighty wings of St. Michael. For years, every Thursday evening, the candlelight flickered softly within St. Michael's church, echoing her prayers, seeking strength and light. But shadows crept in one fateful night when Mark, her beloved husband, received a diagnosis no one could bear: a terminal illness. God, why this suffering? The words tumbled from Sarah's lips as despair sought to grip her heart. The moment she turned to the community, they were there. The villagers, her brothers and sisters in faith, enveloped her in a comforting embrace. But the cruel hand of fate didn't relent. Bills piled high, and with her meager savings evaporating, her steadfast faith began to tremble, casting doubts on her pleading prayers. Then came Father Thomas, the enigmatic elderly priest, with eyes sparkling like starlit skies. He claimed to possess 8 divine secrets, hidden treasures within the heart of God's grace. Your journey, dear Sarah, he said, is unfolding a divine synchronicity, waiting to transform not just you, but our entire village. Each word dripped with solemn mystery and divine assurance. As Sarah listened, the air thrummed with an electric anticipation. Miracles begin with tiny sparks, Father Thomas whispered, revealing the first insight. With each tale he spun like a tapestry of light weaving through clouds. He breathed life into signs that danced around them. A single flower blossoming in the frost, a child laughing under a sunbeam, the laughter of joy amidst shared sorrows. Amidst her own turmoil, hope fluttered restlessly inside her chest. Yet, the queries tormented her. How could a loving God allow such suffering? The night of the town's prayer vigil loomed, and hesitantly Sarah found herself drawn back to St. Michael's, a moth to a flickering flame. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a golden hue bathed the village square, reverberating with prayerful whispers and hopeful hearts. They gathered, hand in hand, embodying a chorus of love. As their voices crescendoed, Sarah's spirit wrestled with God's silence until suddenly, a gasp echoed through the crowd. Mark, frail yet radiant, stepped forward. Light swirled around him like heavenly sunlight breaking through storm clouds. A collective gasp enveloped the vigil as hope ignited. The miraculous presence of grace enveloped them. Sarah's heart raced, tears streaming down her cheeks. Was this truly the miracle she had yearned for? At that moment, Father Thomas approached her, a knowing and serene smile radiating ancient wisdom. Remember, child, miracles are not just for one. They weave the hearts of many into a sacred tapestry. As the villagers embraced and worshipped, the air buzzed with excitement, a meeting point of shared faith and grace. The experience tugged at Sarah's heart, leaving her suspended in wonder. What other divine turns awaited in this unriddled journey? With hope and uncertainty mingling within her soul, she stood ready to unveil the deeper fabric of faith that connected them all. As the villagers rallied around Mark, joy surged through the square like a rush of wind. Praise filled the air, their collective faith igniting a bright fire of gratitude. Eyes glistened with awe. The flickering candlelight seemed to glow even brighter, as if heaven itself lit the world anew. Sarah stepped forward, unsteady with emotion. She couldn't believe it. Mark bore his illness so bravely, and now, here he stood, seemingly untouched by the darkness that loomed only days before. As he gazed into her eyes, A warmth enveloped her heart. In that moment, she realized that they were not just two people. They were the heartbeat of a community that had rallied in the face of despair. "Always believed you'd pull through," she whispered, touching his face, feeling the warmth of life return to his cheeks. Mark smiled back, his eyes sparkling like the very stars Father Thomas spoke of. "I could feel your prayers, Sarah. They were my strength." His voice trembled, a blend of surprise and deep appreciation. As the choir of villagers began to sing songs of praise, Father Thomas raised his hand, calling for silence among the jubilant crowd. He stepped forward, his voice ringing with authority tempered by love. "My dear friends, look upon this miracle. But let us not forget, this is but the first thread in the tapestry woven by our Creator. What does that mean for us?" A voice called from the back, an elderly villager whose faith was as sturdy as the ancient oaks surrounding the village. Father Thomas turned, meeting her gaze. "It means that we must remain vigilant. There are 7 more secrets to uncover, 7 more ways God intends to transform each of us. Each revelation draws us closer to Him. Are we ready to receive the fullness of His grace?" The atmosphere thickened with anticipation, a weighty silence descending. Sarah glanced around, seeing wide-eyed believers grasping their loved ones. There was no denying it. Something deeper was stirring within their hearts. She felt the pulse of hope reverberate through the crowd, a hope rooted not just in healing, but in the promise of divine connection. As they prayed together, a hush fell over the church, and stars began to peek through the velvet sky above. The candles flickered as if sharing secrets with the night. It was in this collective silence that Father Thomas offered the second secret, his voice gentle yet powerful. The second portal opens when we dare to embrace our vulnerability. In our weakness, we shall find strength. Can we be honest about our struggles? Sarah felt a knot in her stomach. How easy it was to celebrate the miracle, but how challenging to admit her fears, her doubts, her moments of weakness throughout this trial. She had tried to manage everything, wearing a mask of resilience when despair nibbled at her edges. A soft voice emerged from within. "I am weak, Lord," she murmured, the weight lifting as she surrendered those hidden fears to the divine. It felt liberating, as if a burden slid off her shoulders. Around her, others began to share too. Voices trembled with honesty as they unveiled their struggles. Stories of loss and despair mingled with laughter and hope. In that sacred space, something shifted. Their hearts expanded as love intertwined with vulnerability, weaving a tighter bond among them. Later that night, as Sarah lay in bed, she pondered Father Thomas's word. What was this mysterious tapestry? What other secrets awaited her? As sleep beckoned, she clung to that sense of wonder and the soft glow of faith, ready for tomorrow to reveal more of God's miraculous plan. But as she drifted into slumber, a question flitted across her mind. What would the next divine revelation unveil, and how would it challenge her heart? The morning sun broke through the curtains, bathing Sarah's room in a golden hue. It felt like a warm embrace, coaxing her out of the lingering remnants of sleep. She sat up, heart racing, as the events of the previous night surged back to her joy, celebration, vulnerability. The promise of God's secrets lingered in the air like a sweet fragrance. With each passing moment, an itch of anticipation tugged at her spirit. Today could hold the unveiling of another miracle, another secret that would further entwine her heart with the divine fabric of their community. As she prepared for the day, she whispered a prayer for open eyes and ears, praying for faith to fill her spirit. At the village square, the buzz of excitement thrummed through the air. Villagers gathered, their faces illuminated with hope. Mark stood at the front, speaking animatedly to a small group, his eyes bright, laughter ringing out. It was clear that he breathed life anew, a living testimony to the miracle he had experienced. Sarah felt warmth spread through her chest, the shared joy palpable. Father Thomas stepped forward, commanding attention yet again. He gathered everyone close. "Friends, let us come together, not just as witnesses to a healing, but as a community desiring deeper truths. His voice boomed with a fervor that made hearts swell. As they settled into a hush, Sarah's heart beat steadily. Would today's revelation touch her directly? Could it be a bolt of light that pierced her hidden fears? With solemnity, Father Thomas launched into the third secret. The third portal opens when we learn to walk in gratitude. It is a power that changes circumstances, shifts perspectives, and can heal wounds far deeper than any illness. Energy rippled through the crowd. Some smiled brightly, while others shifted uncomfortably. Gratitude was often a challenge, especially when storms brewed in life. A gentle rustle of agreement whispered through the villagers. "Can we count our blessings today?" he asked, eyes sweeping across the sea of faces. "Even in our struggles, can we find something to thank God for?" Sarah pondered these words deeply. She remembered the sleepless nights, the worry that had wrapped around her heart like a vine. But in those shadows, surely there had been light. Family, friends, the warmth of community, she could see them all now. Perhaps they were her reasons to cultivate gratitude amidst fear. Next to her, Mark spoke up, his voice firm but tender. "I can't tell you how many times I found strength just by remembering the prayers sent my way. When I was lost in darkness, feeling alone, it was your voices carrying me. For that, I am eternally grateful." Resounding affirmations filled the square. The villagers began to share their thankfulness. Eager hands waved as someone shouted, "I am grateful for the kindness of a neighbor." Another chimed in about the beauty of the blossoms heralding spring. Each expression sparked a fire of warmth beneath the gathering clouds of uncertainty. Tears glistened in Sarah's eyes as she heard voices lifting into one another, a symphony of thanks filling the air with a sweetness that overflowed into breaking hearts. Father Thomas embraced the atmosphere, illuminated by the energy of faith surrounding them. "Remember, the fruit of gratitude nurtures hope. Let it blossom in us." As the gathering drew to a close, Sarah walked home, heart joyous but heavy with longing. The tapestry of revelations spoken felt both beautiful and challenging. Through gratitude, what more could God unfold? What lessons were shaped through suffering? That night, as Sarah lay in bed, a wave of peace washed over her. The fading light of the day flickered outside her window, and she laid her hand over her heart, feeling its steady rhythm. Deep within her, she yearned for the next secret, knowing it would require strength beyond her own. What treasure awaited in the realm of gratitude, and how might it redefine her journey? She closed her eyes, curiosity dancing with prayer, stepping into the mystery of tomorrow. As dawn kissed the sky, a chorus of birds chirped their melodious greetings. Sarah awoke, feeling the promise of the day wrapped around her like a soft blanket. She rose, eager to embrace whatever revelation awaited her. Memories of last night, woven in prayer and gratitude, lent her courage. Stepping outside, Sarah inhaled deeply, filling her lungs with the fresh air of possibility. A mist hung over the village, almost ethereal, as if the world itself held its breath in anticipation. She could sense a divine energy pulsing all around, vibrant and alive. Each step felt sacred, each flicker of light danced joyfully through the trees. Arriving in the village square, she found it brimming with life. The familiar faces of friends buzzed with excitement. Today held significance, a promise to explore, to delve into the fourth secret. As she took her place among the villagers, her heart swelled with expectation. Father Thomas, resplendent in his humble garb, stepped forward again, his countenance glowing with divine light. "Beloved community," he began, the weight of his words drawing all eyes to him. "We stand on the threshold of a profound revelation." His voice wrapped around them, filling the air with warmth as he continued. "The fourth portal ignites when we open our hearts to forgiveness. It is a profound act that releases not only the burdens we carry for others, but also the chains that bind us." A hushed whisper swept through the crowd, hearts grappling with the truth of these words. Forgiveness was often a rocky path, one fraught with pain, yet it held a promise of healing and freedom. Can we let go of old grievances? Can we allow God's grace to wash over us? He asked, the question lingering long after he spoke. Sarah felt her breath hitch at the thought. Slices of her past ebbed forward, moments where hurt had turned into bitterness. Names and faces flickered in her mind. Could she really forgive? The tight knot around her heart squeezed tighter. Yet as she pondered, another voice surfaced, the gentle whisper of something greater. Taking a deep breath, she looked around. The villagers shared solemn nods, processing their own experiences of pain and hurt. Let's share what forgiveness means for us, suggested Mark. The openness of his heart stirred something within her, inviting connection. One by one, stories began to tumble forth. An elderly woman spoke of her long-lost son, her voice trembling yet resolute in its purpose. I have waited years to reconcile, she confessed. A sturdy farmer followed, recounting how he learned to forgive a rival who had wronged him. Tears glistened as stories unfolded like petals in spring. Each act of forgiveness wove a richer tapestry of hope and healing. Sarah's chest tightened as she listened, her heart softening with each confession. In these moments, it became clear God was at work, knitting hearts back together in a divine symphony. She closed her eyes, feeling the echo of their shared experiences resonating deep within her soul. Could she release the bitterness she clutched? The freedom promised in forgiveness was beckoning, yet its weight felt heavy. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, Father Thomas reminded them, his voice laced with a comforting authority. It opens the way for love to flow, heals fractures we did not even know existed. As Sarah opened her eyes once more, she felt an inexplicable peace wash over her. The villagers nodded, and her heart embraced the reality. In the act of forgiving, maybe she would allow light to flood in, illuminating the parts of her spirit long cloaked in shadow. The sun broke through the clouds, casting a warm glow over the crowd. And with that light came a gentle nudge within her, a compelling call to reflect, to act. What would it mean for her to forgive? What healing awaited on the other side of surrender? As she stood there amidst her community, she realized her journey was just beginning. The divine mystery unfolded before her, revealing the next step needed. And with that realization, she felt an urge to seek and find what awaited in the realm of forgiveness. What discoveries would come as she stepped deeper into this transformative grace? Would her own heart beat in harmony with the miracles yet to unfold? Sarah felt the stirring within her, a longing for the freedom that lay in forgiveness. The villagers' stories illuminated her heart, yet doubt lingered like a shadow, whispering fear in her mind. What if I cannot? She thought, a flicker of anxiety threatening to dim the light she had started to feel. Father Thomas's gaze seemed to pierce the very depths of her confusion. Forgiveness is not merely a gift we give to others, he continued, his voice enveloping the gathering. It's also an offering to ourselves. It's a courageous act that strips away the layers of our pain, revealing the joy that has always been there, waiting to be uncovered. She began to see the faces of those she held in her heart, the ones whose actions had torn her spirit. With each name, however, came a new revelation. They too were bound in their own struggles, perhaps even suffering far more than she realized. The idea danced within her, igniting a fire of compassion alongside the urge to forgive. As murmurs of connection thrummed through the crowd, Sarah felt the weight of her hesitation. This wasn't just her journey. It was theirs too. Could the collective strength of their shared experiences be the key that unlocked her heart? One by one, as the villagers spoke, she felt the threads of human connection stitching their stories together like a beautiful quilt. Each story was a testament to resilience, capturing the essence of grief transformed into grace. Forgiveness takes time, interjected a kind voice she recognized as Ruth S., the village seamstress. I had to learn to forgive myself first before I could let go of the hurt others caused me. It was a journey of unlearning. Each word was like a bell ringing in Sarah's heart, echoing truth. Unlearning. It resonated deep, flashing memories of moments she wished to cast aside. The thought of revisiting her own pain felt daunting. Yet there was also curiosity, a flicker of hope. What if, by stepping in her hurt, she could uncover the truth that forgiveness ultimately set her free? A quiet moment settled over the village as Sarah took a step closer to the center. "I would like to share," she found herself saying, her voice steady but soft. Heads turned, eyes sparkling with encouragement. She closed her eyes briefly, breathing deeply, surrendering to the vulnerability. "There are wounds I carry from those I loved and those who failed to love me. It hurts. I never thought I could forgive. But perhaps today, in this space of community and love, God is calling me to be brave." Tears brimmed as she spoke, each confession breaking a piece of the knot that kept her captive. "I know it won't be easy, but I want to try. I want to let the light in." Gasps of sympathy and understanding flowed through the villagers. She felt warmth wrap around her, a divine embrace that connected them all, fellow seekers, fellow strugglers. Mark stepped forward. "We're here with you, Sarah. Let us walk this path together." The support filled the air with palpable energy. They were indeed in this together, bound by shared suffering, yet now yearning for shared healing. Father Thomas watched, a smile of encouragement lighting his face. "Let us pray for openness, for strength to forgive and the will to heal." The villagers closed their eyes, hearts synchronized in prayer, the air thick with intention and hope. As silence enveloped them, Sarah felt a remarkable transformation coursing through her. A flicker of divine light and a burgeoning sense of purpose formed within her, urging her onward. She didn't have to do it all at once. What mattered was the first step, the intention to embrace the process. Just as the prayer concluded, a profound silence broke, replaced by whispers of awe as a gentle breeze swept through, warm, inviting, as if the heavens themselves had witnessed their collective resolve. What awaited Sarah on this journey of forgiveness, where hearts bound by pain sought to flourish in love? Would she discover a deeper connection not only with the villagers, but also with the divine grace that had beckoned her forth? The mysteries ahead were vast, ready to unfold as she took a breath and let the winds of change wrap around her spirit. As the breeze faded, a sacred stillness settled over the gathering. The villagers stood in expectant silence, each heart beating with the hope of change. Sarah felt the warm glow of love surrounding her, lifting her spirit. It was a sensation she had longed for, the essence of grace gently touching the deepest parts of her soul. "Let us reflect on our journey," Father Thomas said, his voice soft yet resonant. "Every wound is a signpost, pointing us toward healing. Today, we embark on a path of renewal together." Each villager closed their eyes, surrendering to their thoughts. Sarah felt their collective breath, drawing in the heavy burdens and releasing them softly, like petals in the wind. She realized that she was not alone. In these moments of reflection, everyone was peeling back layers of hurt, searching for the light trapped beneath. Ruth's voice broke the silence again, this time more determined. "Remember, each of us carries a story. Our pain does not define us. It transforms us into people who can love deeper." Sarah opened her eyes, absorbing the weight of Ruth's words. They were true, like hidden treasures waiting to be unearthed. Compassion filled her heart. Suddenly, the faces she had seen as sources of pain now appeared as fellow travelers on this road of forgiveness, their struggles interwoven with her own. Then, a gentle figure lifted a trembling hand. Eli, the quiet baker known for his soft demeanor. "I want to share," he whispered, his voice crackling with vulnerability. "I've carried anger for too long against someone I loved. I shared bread with them, but I couldn't share my heart. It gets heavy, this anger. Each loaf I baked felt like a weight I couldn't bear." A ripple of understanding flowed through the audience. Sarah realized Eli's burdens were familiar. Each of them carried weights that transformed everyday life into something burdensome. But in this space of shared vulnerability, the burden could become lighter. With each story, a wall crumbled. There were secrets unveiled, tears shed, and moments of shared laughter that sparked joy amid the pain. Laughter wove through the air like a melody, carried on the breeze, reminding them all that healing could be found in even the darkest moments. As Sarah listened, she felt a surge of admiration for her neighbors. Their shared journey was a testament to faith. It pushed her to confront her own pain, beckoning her to let it go. She heard God calling her deeper into this process, forgiving not only others but also herself. Father Thomas's voice broke into her thoughts. Let's take a moment to each think of someone we've struggled to forgive. Imagine them standing before you. Feel the weight of their pain, perhaps it mirrors your own. He paused, allowing the words to settle. Now, in your heart, speak forgiveness. You may not feel it completely yet, but let the words spill forth. No one is perfect. Each heart aches, and every soul longs for grace. It is in these moments of honesty where the miracle begins. The villagers repeated softly after him, I forgive, I release, I choose love. The air thickened with sincerity, and Sarah felt the words resonate within her. They stirred something profound and divine, an awakening that opened vast doors within her spirit. As the final words echoed in the cool evening air, Sarah stood in the center of it all. A realization unfolded within her. A choice was ahead, a commitment to let love govern her heart, not resentment. She took a deep breath and felt a liberating release wash over her. And just as she opened her mouth to speak, the clouds overhead parted, casting beams of radiant light down upon them like heavenly blessings. It felt like a sign, a divine spark igniting a transformational moment. What awaited her on this path, illuminated by the grace of the villagers and the divine love poured out upon them? Could the act of forgiveness shape not just her heart, but the entire village? The answer swirled in the warm evening air, tantalizingly close yet beyond her grasp, just like the unfolding journey ahead. As the light filtered through the parting clouds, Sarah found herself holding her breath, caught in the beauty of the moment. It felt like every eye around her was drawn upward, captivated by this heavenly embrace. The air tingled with anticipation, a sacred invitation to something deeper, something life-altering. Father Thomas looked around at the villagers, his eyes glistening with heartfelt pride. We are witnessing a miracle, dear friends. God hasn't brought us here just to forgive one another. He desires to pour out his love in abundance, to transform our hearts completely. The villagers murmured in agreement, hopes intertwining with faith like the branches of mighty trees. Sarah noticed the way their expressions shifted, illuminating truths and awakening spirits. Faces once etched with sorrow now reflected glimmers of joy. She felt hope surge within her. Yes, each of them wasn't merely seeking forgiveness. They were yearning for a renewal that encompassed their very lives. Let us share a moment of praise, Father Thomas encouraged, raising his hands. Without hesitation, the villagers joined in, each voice rising, entwining in a chorus of gratitude. Sarah closed her eyes again, letting the warmth of their voices wash over her. As the final notes lingered in the air, a serene calm engulfed the gathering. It was the kind of stillness that held promise, silence pregnant with expectation. Sarah thought about Eli and his confession. She could sense that many were grappling with similar tensions. The weight of unspoken burdens hung heavy, but there was something different in the atmosphere now. There was freedom to be had. Now, Father Thomas said, think about that person you spoke forgiveness to. Visualize them again. What would you like to say if you could speak from your healed heart? His question danced in the air, igniting contemplative sparks. Sarah recalled her own struggles, years of resentment towards someone who had hurt her deeply. As she breathed in deeply, she envisioned that lost connection, the tension that had shackled her for too long. I forgive you, She whispered softly, tears brimming her eyes. I release the pain. I release you. It was a moment of divine alchemy. The tears flowed freely now, tears of release, tears of joy. Each drop was a surrender to something greater. The villagers were shaken by this shared vulnerability. Others began repeating these heartfelt declarations, their own stories spilling forth like petals unfurling in spring. With each word spoken, the air thickened with hope, alive with transformation. One by one, villagers approached others they once held grudges against, embracing the divine opportunity. There were tears, laughter, and healing mixed seamlessly in the moment. The village felt like an open heart, pulsing with new life. Sarah stepped back to observe. She felt a shift in the atmosphere, tangible and electric. Was it merely her imagination, or was the world around them shimmering more brightly? They were not simply forgiving. They were weaving a tapestry of divine love that promised to stretch far beyond this gathering. As the villagers began exchanging stories, a deep sense of unity emerged, a profound connection that transcended individual pain. Sarah saw it clearly now. God was uniting them, crafting a bond built on shared healing and collective resilience. Then a shadow flickered at the edge of their gathering, an elderly woman, seemingly unnoticed until now. With trembling hands and a worried expression, she stepped forward. I have a confession, she said, and an electrifying hush fell over the crowd. What tale did she bring? Was it a story of pain, of longing? Would her words lead them deeper into understanding? As Sarah's heart raced, she felt the truth that lingered in the gathering. The path was still unfolding, a divine mystery waiting to be revealed. The silence was thick, almost palpable, as the elderly woman held the villagers' gazes. They leaned in closer, their faces a tapestry of concern and curiosity. She cleared her throat, the sound weathered but resolute. I have carried a heavy burden, she began, her voice wavering, one I thought would crush my spirit. Sarah felt a magnetic pull toward the woman, sensing that this would be more than a single story. It was an echo of many silent struggles. The villagers began to shift, sharing indistinct whispers of encouragement, their compassion collectively lighting the way for the woman to continue. I lost my son many years ago. My heart has grieved in ways I cannot fully express. A hushed sympathy rippled through the crowd, each heart aching alongside her. I thought that my grief was mine to bear alone. It became my identity, my shadow. She paused, searching the eyes before her. But today feels different. Father Thomas nodded gently, urging her to speak on. The weight of her sorrow hung in the air, but beneath it was a stirring, a promise of grace. I once believed the heavens had turned away from me. I could not forgive those who told me time would heal. I pushed away those who loved me, believing my pain isolated me, she said, her voice growing stronger. Yet here, in this moment, I feel the love wrapping around me as I stand before you. She spread her arms, and it felt as if the air itself embraced her, infused with the spirit of healing. The villagers nodded with understanding, their eyes glistening with shared emotion. I want to forgive not only myself, but also those who tried to comfort me in their own way. She continued, tears streaming down her face. I want to release the anger I have harbored like a shield. I choose to forgive the pain, the memories of regret. I choose to invite his love in where doubt once lived. As her words hung like incense in the air, Sarah felt an overwhelming presence engulf the gathering. The Holy Spirit was moving amongst them. It was thrilling and terrifying all at once. Waves of peace washed over her, lifting the burdens they had all carried for far too long. Before anyone could gather their thoughts, another villager, an older gentleman with a grizzled face, called out, I've lost loved ones too. I've allowed bitterness to intertwine with love, but today we're choosing hope. His words sparked a wave of declarations. Others began whispering their own tales, stories of loss, regret, and heartache transformed into cries for healing. Forgiveness is not weakness, Father Thomas proclaimed, his voice rising higher, infused with newfound energy. It is the essence of strength. It remarks anew the heart once heavy with sorrow. The crowd responded with fervor, hearts expanding to embrace one another's burdens. They were in the midst of alchemizing their pain into love, each shared confession acting as a new thread in the vibrant tapestry of their unity. Then suddenly, there was an electrical crackle in the air, and out of the corner of her eye, Sarah noticed a flicker of light, brilliant and pure, shimmering like sunlight reflecting off a serene lake. It danced near the elderly woman, lifting her spirit higher with every breath. Could it be a divine answer to the yearning prayer she had been holding? Was the promise of transformation unfolding before their very eyes? In that sacred space between breathe and hope, as joy intertwined with weighty confessions, Sarah couldn't shake the sensation that something momentous was coming. A deep yearning filled her, a desire to unlock the mysterious potential that was shaping this encounter. What awaited them in this sacred embrace? What divine revelation would emerge from the shadows? As the congregation stood together, hearts intertwined, a hush fell, readying them for whatever miracle was on the horizon. The hush enveloped the gathering like a soft blanket, nurturing their collective anticipation. Sarah could feel her heart racing, the flickering light intensifying as if beckoning them closer to the edge of something extraordinary. The elderly woman stood stoically, her eyes shining with an inner radiance, revealing a glimpse of profound truth. In that electric moment, Father Thomas raised his hands, inviting everyone to unite in prayer. Let's not hold back. With every heartbeat, let's open our spirits wide. We are gathered in his presence, surrounded by love and purpose. His voice seemed to swirl through the air, echoing off the very walls of their being. As they began to pray, Sarah's spirit soared. She closed her eyes and felt the warmth of the sun on her skin, a gentle reminder of divine love. With every word of intent shared, the flickering light began to pulse, radiating a vibrant warmth that enveloped them all. I choose to forgive, whispered the elderly woman again, the mantra resonating within each person like a gentle wave lapping at the shore. I release the chains. I accept healing in its purest form. The villagers echoed her sentiments, voices rising in unison. We choose hope. We choose love. We choose healing. Tears cascaded down their faces, but they were not tears of sorrow. Rather, they were tears of release, the kind that cleansed the soul and sparked a revival of joy. Sarah felt a spontaneous wave of gratitude crash over her, washing away doubts while igniting seeds of faith. Suddenly, the light shimmered, and a figure emerged, suspended in that radiant glow, an ethereal manifestation of hope. The villagers gasped, a mix of fear and awe painting their faces. It stood there, serene and filled with an inexplicable joy, gazing upon them as if recognizing the depth of their wounds and the courage of their heart. Why do you seek me? The figure spoke, a voice lilting and melodic. What healing do you long for? Speak your burdens. Speak your desires. In that instant, a current of truth swept through Sarah. We seek freedom, she cried, her heart bursting forth with the weight of her truth. Freedom from fears that suffocate us. Freedom from sorrow that chains us to the past. The figure smiled, an expression of pure compassion. Then open your hearts to the depths of love. Let it encircle you. Let it change you. You are not alone in your struggle. Grant yourselves the grace to heal and to forgive. Each villager mirrored her sound, acknowledging their own chains. Free us, Lord. We desire to be whole. And as they cried out, the light expanded, bathing the gathering in a transcendent golden hue. They felt a profound, pulsating rhythm in their breasts, a heartbeat syncing with the divine. In this sacred moment, they all understood healing began with vulnerability. Freedom came through the act of deep and genuine forgiveness. As the figure of light shimmered and began to retreat, a gentle whisper brushed their ears. The path to healing is not always easy. You will need to nurture this moment in your hearts, for the journey has just begun. With that statement lingering in the air, the figure vanished, leaving only the radiant warmth echoing in their souls. The villagers stood in silence, their breaths mingled, hearts throbbing, pulsing with newfound purpose and resolve. What would this revelation call them to do? How would they embrace the upcoming transformations that awaited them? The air was ripe with unspoken promises, and in their hearts, they knew this wasn't just the end, but the beginning of something much grander, a journey filled with faith and monumental change. As the echoes of the divine presence faded, the villagers remained still, wrapped in the warmth of the light that transformed their hearts. A consuming peace filled the square, a palpable grace that moved through each person, stitching together the tapestry of brokenness and healing. Sarah felt her heartbeat synchronize with those around her. Hope surged like a river, flowing freely as fears dissolved into embers of encouragement. The weight of her burdens seemed lighter, softened by the shared vulnerability they had all expressed. She glanced at Mark, whose eyes sparkled with newfound life, reflecting the miracle that had unfolded. Her heart swelled with gratitude for every moment, every struggle that had led them to this sacred gathering. Father Thomas stood before them, eyes bright with the glow of divine wisdom. "My beloved community," he began, his voice resonating like a bell of truth, "this moment is a glimpse of what God desires for us. Healing, love, and grace are the gifts bestowed upon you. You are not just individuals. You are a collective embodiment of God's promise." The villagers erupted into applause, laughter blending with tears. The atmosphere crackled with excitement as Sarah felt the electricity of possibility surge through her. Friends united in wonder danced like the flames of candlelight, illuminating the shadows that had once hidden pain and isolation. "Let's remember this day," another villager cried, "the day we embraced forgiveness, the day we stepped into the light." Amens rang out, vibrantly echoing their commitment to nurturing this healing in their hearts and actions. Each voice was a promise, each cheer a beacon of transformation. Father Thomas raised his hands again, calling for quiet. It's essential to hold fast to this moment. However, we must also remember, healing is a journey. As we embark on the next steps, we venture forward in love one that embraces, challenges, and uplifts. Are you ready for the journey? Yes, they affirmed in unison, energy pulsing through them. Together, they breathed in this collective resolve, knowing they stood on the cusp of a profound transformation ready to reshape their lives. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon in radiant hues, Sarah glanced at her hands, remembering the warmth they had offered the elderly woman and all her friends. "I am ready," she whispered, determination igniting within her. She understood now that forgiveness extended beyond mere words. It was an action, a daily choice, a commitment to release and love even when it felt challenging. "Let's share our stories as we walk this path," she suggested. The villagers nodded, eyes sparkling with understanding. It was a pact forged out of joy and hope. Each story would intertwine their lives more profoundly, unearthing the deeper roots of faith that united them. They began to share their intentions. One spoke of restoring relationships that had long been frayed, another about facing a past laden with regret, yet another dared to dream of using their talents to bless others. Each intention, coded in sincerity, transported them closer to the divine. As the night deepened, twinkling stars birthed a canopy of hope above them. In that sacred moment, they realized that the tapestry of faith was still unfolding, a masterpiece woven together by countless threads, each colored by their experiences and choices. "We are all here because of him," Sarah declared, her voice ringing clear. "Let this be a continuous journey of love, of healing, and faith echoed through acts of kindness. Let us tend to each other's hearts as we journey forward." With that, hands interlocked, hearts entwined, they bowed their heads in prayer, encircled by the starlit sky. The air shimmered with blessings, and she felt the presence affirm their resolve. They had chosen to embark on this divine quest to gather community, bound not merely by circumstance, but by love. As they lifted their eyes, something extraordinary transformed within them. No longer just villagers, they became a collective, united in purpose and filled with affection, guiding their next steps as a beacon of hope in a troubled world. The divine mystery continued to unfold, waiting, yearning for their hearts to embrace all that lay ahead. This wasn't the end, but a beautiful beginning, a continuation of faith, love, and shared miracles poised to shape their lives and community for eternity. Let us go forth, Father Thomas declared, the excitement palpable. Let us carry this light into our families, into the darkness of sorrow, and show them what forgiveness can manifest. With determination ignited in every soul, Sarah felt each footstep was charged with purpose as they began to disperse into the night, ready to light the way not just in Blackwood, but wherever God led them. In the soft glow of the moonlight, she whispered, "Thank you, God, for this family," and embraced the journey ahead with joyful anticipation. They were ready to unlock each new portal together, transforming every struggle into a miracle. Now, my dear friends, here's what you need to do. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you can experience the next exclusive faith stories. We can't wait to share them with you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support is crucial. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending. Let us fill the space with love and gratitude. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible manifestation. Remember, only true servants of God understand how essential it is to support our faith community through these actions. Don't wait even one more second.